Daddy Chinese, the crossover king, and I fully endorse Miss Loutoo's private tuition. Miss Loutoo is one of the best teachers that I know. She offers integrated science, biology, and chemistry. Want to have fun? Check out Miss Loutoo's. Don't let online learning be a bore. For more info, check the number below. Daddy Chinese is here. Learn something today. Miss Loutoo's only want to check.
Hi, good night. How are you doing? Good night, everyone viewing. I'm here tonight with Sai. Could you please introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, everybody. Good night. My name is Mrs. Sai Loutoo Jagrup, and I am a biology and chemistry teacher and also the Dean of Discipline at St. Kevin's College in San Fernando.
Awesome. Which area are you from, by the way? San Fernando?
No, I'm actually from MacBean Village in Cooper.
Okay, cool. How long have you been a teacher, though?
You could say roughly for the past 7 years. I've been at St. Kevin's for the last 4 years.
Okay. And what do you specialize in?
Biology and chemistry.
No, is that an easy job?
It gets a bit, how to put it? It could get challenging at times, but it's easier than other times.
I understand. And just 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, your phone, camera. I'm not watching how your camera is set up. All right. Yeah. So, what made you want to become a teacher, though?
It probably might sound a little cliche, but my grandparents were actually teachers as well. They both were standard 5 teachers at different schools. Some of them might know them. Some of you all might know them. A Mr. Loutoo and a Mrs. Vina Loutoo. So that in itself kind of, motivated me as a young person to become a teacher. Another thing that actually pushed me into secondary school is because of my experience as a student. My experience during secondary school was not the most ideal. And I mean, a lot of children could relate because it was somewhat boring, in other words. And some of the teachers were stereotypical. So I told myself, something, I kind of want to make a little change, a little different, change up the dynamics in education per se. So that's why I went into teaching at a very young age.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, that type of passion, especially when you're going into teaching.
Yes, you actually have to like it because, to be quite frankly honest, it's either you like children and you have the patience or you don't. It's not an easy job.
That's true. And well, you see COVID come and attack the world by storm. How has it affected you personally? Not as a teacher or anything, just as an individual.
As an individual, I would say it has been quite difficult in the past year because what you're accustomed doing on a daily basis, simple errands such as going to the grocery store or the pharmacy has now become very scary. So my contact and my how to put it, my normalcy per se has been shifted because I was accustomed being on the go here, there, and everywhere, and now we, all bound to 4 walls. So it has become very difficult for me to cope. I believe this is a relatable symptom to everybody, the little COVID depression, because what you're accustomed doing, you cannot do it anymore. And you have to adapt to these new normals and these new changes. So that in itself, that transition to me has been difficult, but you take it one day at a time and, you get it done.
That's true. That's really true. And as a teacher, how has the COVID changed your way of teaching and all these little things?
Oh my God, it has been a roller coaster per se, because you see, when you're in a classroom, you're accustomed interacting with your students face to face. You build a relationship, you get to know everything about a student in those years that you teach them. And now having to deliver content and still try to maintain that personal touch, it has become very hard. A lot of the times, the little jokes I would make, the funny gestures, some of them aren't even on the screen because sometimes you have to do pre-recorded sessions, so you don't know if they're engaged or if they're not. So teaching in a virtual classroom for me has become very difficult.
Okay, yeah, they do all kind of craziness. A lot of teachers actually call me to ask me if there's any way they could stop this person from coming to the classroom because it's all kind of just different drama going on.
We
And
have
the quarreling with the teacher and all kind of thing going on. Or they
I
just
haven't had
assume that the
those
Wi-Fi
issues.
go on.
I haven't had those issues per se, but simple as the connectivity issues we might have from time to time. Sometimes it might say, Miss, I don't have any electricity at home. I mean, it's a situation that you can't help. I mean, you can't say for granted, well, this student is actually telling the truth or telling a lie. So, you just have to kind of give it the benefit of the doubt and work with your students as well.
So what's the most challenging thing you've experienced thus far with this online learning?
I would have to personally say engagement. Engaging a student in a virtual classroom is a lot difficult because, I mean, to begin with, it's not the ideal setting, right? So to keep their attention span for, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes, it's difficult because they're not going to want to listen to a lecture after, let's say, 15 minutes with just slides. They ain't going to want to hear you talk for 15 minutes down the line. So you have to incorporate different ways to keep them there, right? And I have realized as well, some children, they don't see the value of education anymore. Because when I was growing up, you would have intrinsic and extrinsic rewards, right? And motivation. One of the motivation would be, all right, mommy says if I go to class and I get all correct in this test, I will get something at the end of the week. We don't have that happening anymore. And then furthermore, you will say, well, all right, if I go to school, if I learn my work, I will actually feel better about myself. I'll be intelligent, I'll be smart. But we don't have that happening. Some children don't see the importance. They don't see the need to be attending these classes. They say, well, I could watch that at some other point at time. That's okay. She talking that sort of nonsense. I don't have to pay attention to that. But we lack that there. And then the next thing that we lack as well, some of us, we have learned to build this relationship with our students. So even though, yes, we are teacher, you are student, we also have that family unit as well. And that is kind of hard to maintain because for me personally, I would actually incorporate that into my classroom so that we have an understanding. When we are not there physically to have that personal touch, that is a barrier that I have to figure out now. How am I bridging this virtually? What am I going to do here?
That's true. The face-to-face is always the best aspect of educating someone. Always. You might learn better as well.
I actually have some Form 5 students that say, Miss, something, I hate COVID. I really wish I was in school.
Really? All that drama.
All that drama.
And you say engagement, but have parents been engaging the children in the work? Because a lot of people are home right now, especially with the COVID.
Actually, yes, parents are trying. I will not say no, right? Personally, from my honest opinion, from my end, sometimes when a child puts on a mic to answer a question, you can hear the parents in the back telling them, hey, Miss said to do X, Y, and Z. So yes, I will say yes, they are trying. But then I also have some of the parents who are essential workers, and they're not there all the time to be able to monitor what's going on. So we have a little bit of both scenarios where sometimes if the parent is not there to be able to monitor, and I mean, children will be children. I mean, you can't take it for granted that, yes, they are responsible. They're going to do their work. They're going to make sure they attend their classes. You can't really depend on them per se. They're children, right? I mean, this is to be expected of them. And then when, admin decides to call in and say, well, the child has been absent for X, Y, and Z, these assignments are missing, you have the stresses of the parent now because the parent here now has to be employed because they have to provide, but at the same time, we're having problems with their child. So I'm having a little bit of both occurring over the last year. Yeah.
What the age of these children though? Like what forms?
I teach forms 1 to 5. So the age ranges would be from 12 straight up until about 17 years old.
Serious? And is with everyone? Is not only with like the younger ones, is with the older ones as well?
I have some issues with the older ones as well. So it's not just the younger ones actually attend classes, which surprises me. All of the younger ones are usually there. They want to learn. They're enjoying this because they could roll off their bed, be in their pajamas, and be like, "Hey, yeah, let's learn in the comfort of my own home." But then we have some of the older ones that say, something, Miss, going and upload that lecture later. I'll look at that when I have some time. So this is where we run into
the university mindset. The big
yeah, basically.
Yes, serious. And bridging the gap of that, right? The education system, in part with the online learning itself, you find it difficult for students to access Google Classrooms as well as Zoom and these other applications. They had a hard time adapting to it.
At first, yes, it was, because I could safely say for myself, I had to actually teach over the phone how to do it, right? Because I ended up with some formants that were not, computer literate, and with all of these platforms, they weren't sure what they had to do. So you had to spend countless hours on the phone with the parents explaining how to configure these apps, how to access all the information, what they need to download. So it took a little bit of time to adjust initially within, let's say, the first term. But then after that, I think everybody had gotten the hang of it per se.
Okay. Again, guys, good night. Thank you again for being here, Sai. This could be really nice to put the perspective of a teacher, especially in this COVID times, because that's what a lot of parents want to know as well. If anyone has any questions as well for the teacher, you could just comment down below. I see somebody hit you up, Bodo. All right, I have a nice little comment here. Some students also have help in the home. Many students now have permanent part-time jobs, and it's survival for most of them now. Any of your students randomly get jobs for the COVID just to help out home?
They did. Yeah, and this is where they would call me and say, well, Miss, here's what, right? I'm not going to be able to attend this session today. Is it any way you can record this and get it to me? I will view it. I will complete my assignments. I'll get it back to you. So yes, I have had some students that had no choice but to help you out.
Okay. So, another comment here for you as well. Let's say I know she's doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Yeah, true. You also do private teaching as well, right?
Yes.
What services do you offer?
So I teach. I do give private tuition classes. I teach integrated science, biology, and chemistry from forms 1 to 5. So it's usually on an evening. The chemistry class is on a Saturday morning, however. I keep the classes very small, and just to be able to assure that, you have the individualized attention, everybody is getting help, because a lot of my complaints from parents is their children are involved in larger classes and they get lost and left behind.
Okay.
So I make sure
more individualized teaching.
That's right. It's tailored for that.
Okay. Ria, just keep commenting some nice stuff there about you.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, we're going to take a quick little small break because it's already been almost 15 minutes in, and we'll be right back, right?
Hi, I am Daddy Chinese, the crossover king, and I fully endorse Miss Loutoo's private tuition. Miss Loutoo is one of the best teachers that I know. She offers integrated science, biology, and chemistry. Want to have fun? Check out Miss Loutoo's. Don't let online learning be a bore. For more info, check the number below. Daddy Chinese is learn something today. Miss Loutoo's only want to check.
And we're back. You get a nice little comment here from one of your former students.
Aw, Marina is a darling.
All right, so one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was about
Mhm.
the tutor advising teachers not to risk their lives by going back to schools. What are your thoughts on this, by chance, if you could talk about it?
All right. Now, because of the fact that I am at a private school, tutor
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really govern our body, right? My principal actually has to make the decisions. However, he usually follows through with everything that is being done with the Ministry of Education and also tutor as well. Personally, in my opinion, I agree with it with regards to risking lives, and it's very simple because contact tracing is very difficult to do. As a person, you interact with so many different people on an everyday basis. Kind of hard to keep up with who you're meeting on a daily basis. And I mean, classes are like 30, 40 students in total. It's not really advisable at the moment, just not only for the teachers' sake, but for the children as well, to be out there doing this face to face. I mean, if we've been doing it online for the last year and it has been working out fine, so be it. It's not your life, honestly, is worth a lot and it's not easily replaceable. So I personally will not say risk it, go out there, get it done. We could do this
Exactly.
online. Let's continue.
Yeah, and you don't know if you yourself have COVID and you're going on risking your other students as well.
Correct.
It's
Correct. Because I
crazy.
mean, plenty of us here probably walking around with it asymptomatic. Students probably have it. We don't know. I mean, I've had a situation that happened last year, right before the lockdown, when the first case was out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had these simple guidelines: social distance, stop touching objects, don't cough, don't sneeze at each other. Children will be children. There is no way to guarantee that they will ensure their personal safety and others as well.
And
So
you got
it
a nice
has,
little question here too.
did you have a hard time separating your personal life from your job due to online teaching? I would say no, because everything is scheduled and routine. So you just work around your routine and get everything done, per se.
Like a
I mean,
normal
I'm
job.
children, so it's not that hard for me. But teachers who have their family lives,
Mhm.
it has been a little difficult for them with the transition.
Okay, okay. And you got another question here as well from Ria. How do students complete their practical lab work with regards to being home?
To be at home. All right, so we were given a little window to work with earlier on this year so that we could have completed the labs per se. Um, Me being innovative and trying not to wait on last minute, I actually had them do labs at home. So I came up with different ways to substitute materials that we would have in the lab, simple labs that I knew that could have been conducted at home. For them to have the practice from beforehand, I had substituted a little bit of research, substituted out materials, simple chemicals with household items, apparatus with household items, taught them different ways of sterilizing things at home. And I got that practice inside. What I couldn't supplement with at home activities, there were videos for such. So by the time they came out now to do the labs in February, March, we were okay because they already knew what they had to do. So we had a little window there to work with.
Okay, okay, I understand. That's really okay. I understand how it is using practical items and stuff on a budget as well for persons.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy. Thank you guys again for coming out and commenting. If you're viewing, please share the live. Let's get the information out there to the public so they will know. You know. And another question I would like to ask you, Sai, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, they recommended 2,500 teachers for the vaccine, but what do you think about the vaccine and will you be taking it? What do
Personally,
you
in my
think? And
opinion,
as a biology teacher too, a teacher of science.
all right. In my opinion, from my knowledge with vaccinations and learning immunity, every vaccine that is created has risks. Yes, right? If I will be taking the vaccine, I will, but right at this moment, our essential workers and our frontline workers are the ones that need it, right? So for me, in my opinion, I would prioritize them and let them get the vaccine first. I mean, in the end of the day, my vaccine dose could actually go to somebody who needs it, who has to be out there.
Exactly.
I'm online for a while, so I could hold off until I know for a fact that yes, I'm going back out, and then most definitely, yes, I will.
Exactly. Because this whole thing is online right through, and I don't see this finishing anytime soon.
It
going back to school
doesn't
anytime
look
soon.
feasible. For me,
It
in my
already
opinion,
exists. Yeah.
no, this might continue for the next year.
What was one of the most favorite experiments you have done with your students?
Food tests. For biology, would definitely be testing different samples of food to see what components of your diet is present in those food. And I kind of made the children aware of what they eat, and they're like, okay, miss, I'm not going to be eating this and putting this into my body. With regards to chemistry, I would say my favorite experiment per se would have been titrations to be able to neutralize acids and bases, because then they were able to put this into practice at home to neutralize out simple everyday substances. But what I try to do with these different things that I teach, make it relatable to them.
Okay. And as a teacher of science, what's your views on COVID itself, the virus itself, not the vaccine or anything like that?
What exactly you're looking at? Let's be a little specific here.
All right, so you saw a little release later as well, a while ago, that I said it was airborne, but it's been airborne for a while from the first signs of it. What's your views on that?
The thing about it is all
And
viruses
what precautionary measures you would give advice to persons as well as your students?
Now, from my little bit of research, because remember this thing is new, so everything is very limited, but they're working on viruses that have went back and looking at the similarities with those, right? I would have said personally it may have been airborne for a while. It's just that it was undetected per se. As your research proved, because every time that you have to put forth new research and new studies, you have to test these things before you put it out there, because you can't say, well, all right, this vaccine working, so let's just use the vaccines, for instance. I do one test on it, and then by the time I release it, it's not viable, it's not favorable, it's not working for us, right? Then the mass population might turn around and say you're putting out false information. So for all you know, your virologists were actually trying to see if this thing was airborne, right? So in my honest opinion, when I actually have to go outside, aside from just wearing a mask alone, I've actually stopped wearing the cloth masks because of the fact that I know for a fact that it's not all that 100% effective. So surgical masks, right? I have invested myself in a face shield, right, to prevent any sort of splash attacks here or there. Washing your hands is the most effective things to do right now when you have to go to different places. In absence, some places have the sanitizers. So yeah, and again, limit yourself and the movement, because the virus needs a host to be able to live in, and you are the host. And if you move, it will multiply and it will replicate and it will spread. If you stop moving, the virus stops moving as well. So that's why they have been implementing all of these strict precautions to keep you all home.
Okay. A question. That's really good advice. I understand that very nicely. A question that I skipped, which I think was interesting, is that that some students may not be in a slight poverty, and they may not have internet access as well as receive a device as yet. How do you guys work around that with materials and stuff for them?
We prepare packages for them. So we'll find out like how many students do not have devices from the different phones. I mean, for primary school, they do the same thing as well. And they would prepare packages, weekly packages, and they will send it out to the schools. The parents will come to the school, collect the packages, have the student do the work, and then drop it off. When the next time they come to collect packages again, they will drop off the work that was done. So that is the closest thing that we've had to bridging that gap at the moment.
That's nice. That's really nice. You got another question here from Ria. Ria, only continue with questions, yes?
Currently working on any study materials for all science subjects. I have finished writing I've actually finished writing my own chemistry study guide. In the process of proofreading the whole thing, I'm putting like problem solving stuff inside. Trying to put in a little bit of lab information data as well. I'm almost completed with writing my biology book as well. But before publishing, I want to try and use it on my students and see how it's working out first before getting there. Because being a science teacher, you test everything that you have before you put it out. So that's what I plan to do. Let me say probably in about 2-3 years, it might be out there in bookstores for purchase.
Oh, really? Okay. You got the whole thing published itself.
the whole thing gonna be published.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's really cool. And well, from my views as a techie, right, I believe that online learning is going to be the norm right through from the next few
Oh, yes.
years, right? What are your views on that? Do you think it's the same thing, or you think we might be going back to schools running as normal? Because I know COVID going to be around for another few years, especially.
Oh,
You think
yes.
everything will just get back to normal, or you could just be like online learning right through as the norm?
Well, to begin with, some of the other countries, the first world countries, they had already, from before COVID, started implementing what they had called distance learning for people who weren't able to come to a school physically, but they could have accessed the device and been in a classroom, which a lot of these schools were working on. Well, I should say universities were working on and getting there. With COVID now, that actually had to be pushed into overdrive. They didn't have a choice. The full transition had to be there. Seeing that COVID will be around for a few years, well, and this might end up being our new normal, we may have a slight transition where you may have, right, once it's safe and it's advisable for gatherings, you may have some sessions that may be live face-to-face in school. Majority of those sessions might end up being for the practical reasons, right, like labs and any other stuff that requires that particular type of learning where you need that face-to-face contact. Whereas, in my opinion, for the rest of it, I think personally, schools may end up having the half and half. Half of it being live on the in face-to-face interaction, and half being on Google Classroom, Zoom, etc.
Okay, I understand. And everybody who just tuning in, I'm here with, you can say your name for everyone.
Miss Sai Loutoo.
All right, awesome. All right, so if you guys have any questions as well, you could just post it in the comments here. I'm just gonna show one of the comments here. We look forward to it, maybe even an ebook. As we can see today, the world is leaning on technological aspects. I think that's important. Yeah, work on it.
Yeah,
I want to talk about your lessons. If you could just tell us a lot more about your lessons, what you offer, and this type of stuff, if you'll be able to do that.
So I've been giving lessons for the past 2 years, right? It was physically before the pandemic, and now everything is strictly online on Zoom and Google Classroom. So biology is on a Tuesday evening from 3 to 4:30. Integrated science is carded for a Thursday evening, same time, 3 to 4:30. Chemistry is carded. Those are Form 5 classes, right? Chemistry is carded for a Saturday morning, 9 to 11. I also have a mixed lower form class from Forms 1 to 3. The students are in this one class for the science. They have a chemistry class on a Monday evening, and they also have one bio class on a Wednesday evening. All classes, like I said, is being done strictly online. I'm doing live sessions, just keeping the time limited because at the same time, yes, I want them to learn and I want them to do a little bit of extra, but I don't want to burn them out as well. My Google platform is used for all the notes. So even if I have students that are joining after we have started the syllabus per se, they still have access to the notes that went by. I use it as well for my method of assessment, sending assignments, correcting assignments, etc.
And the prices and stuff, like how the prices goes.
Now it is $200 per subject, right? That's $200 a month. But if you are doing 2 or more subjects, we could work out a package for you.
Okay. Again, some nice comments here. Real supportive, Dread.
Yes, I try to keep my classes very interactive because they get bored very easily. So I have to step out the box a little bit with them. And I mean, in the end of the day, they are little human beings as well. They have emotions, they have feelings. So what I try to do when we start off the class, one of my students, she calls the classes therapeutic because I will spend the first 15 minutes speaking to them, asking them how their day was, how they are they okay, is everything all right? Get for them to vent their own feelings and their own emotions with regards to COVID, and then getting to the work. So it's not only just work alone, but still trying to build that relationship with them per se.
Okay, awesome. There's a lot of teachers as well in the comments, and a lot of upcoming teachers too working on degrees. What motivational or advice you could give them? You know, in the upcoming patience.
I would say patience is the number one thing at this moment you need to have, right? Also, you have to learn to take it easy, and you have to learn that not everything you're going to know overnight as a teacher. Like I said, it's been 7 years that I've been doing this, and I'm still learning things every day, right? So
Mhm.
take it easy on yourself. But I would advise you don't burn yourself out as well. Pace yourself, pace your work, right? Get to know your students, get to know what you're working with before you put the materials out. Build that relationship, build that trust in them, establish your rules, establish your positions. Let them know that, hey, if you respect me, I give you respect. It works like that. And you work with your students. You don't bash them, you don't insult them, you don't make them feel less of a person, but you work with them, because not every student gonna have the same circumstance. Not every student is gonna be learning at the same speed. And if it's one thing that we've learned in our degree, no child must be left behind. So you as a teacher have to learn more so now where we on online, and you have to learn in some different way to be able to meet the needs of your students. You have to get there. You have to be available for them, not just during the class as well. You have to be a friend. You have to be a mother. You have to be, somebody that they could lean on, because teachers are not just educators. It goes beyond that capacity. Sometimes they need somebody to talk to because they have
Hmm.
no one to speak to. Maybe they have a little issue at home that they can't speak to their parents about, but it might be easier to relate to you. So patience is the first thing I could tell you you're going to need to have a lot of. And it's okay, trust me, it's okay when you finish a class, you want to melt down, you want to cry. It's fine. We all
Yeah,
are trying and doing our best at the moment.
that's true.
It's fine. You need, as a teacher, aside from, having all of these different difficulties to deal with, you as a person need to say, yes, I am trying. We are all trying, and we are getting through this together. I'm
I think
seeing
a
one
teacher
from
just be
you.
like a second parent, because throughout the
Yeah,
school life they only seen the
yep.
teacher, the form teacher, every single time. So it's
I'm
like a
a lot
second
of
mother
their
or second
mummies.
father. See,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm a lot of their mummies right now. Even some of my former students, they would still tell their parents, Miss was like a mom to me.
Or they might
So
call your mom
I've had
mistakenly.
that happen, and I was like, it's fine. Don't worry. It's okay. So yeah.
What are some of the feedback you get from students and their parents?
Okay, so I've actually had a lot of good reviews. Some of you all, if it is you all interested to actually see the individual reviews, they're on my Facebook page at the moment. Parents are actually very pleased with what I've been doing and what I've been trying to do over the last year. One thing I have is open communication with my parents, and I tell them as it is. If you see something wrong with my teaching, or if you see somewhere I could actually fine tune and become a better teacher, come out and
Mhm.
tell me. You tell me, because you think about it, I have to learn to take constructive criticism to become better and to be a better teacher to your student. The children love my classes. I'm not saying that to gloat, but it has been there in the reviews. I'm actually their vent buddy, because sometimes when they want to vent about other things, other classes, other
Mhm.
issues, I am there to listen to them. And they always say that I find a way to relate what we are doing in a topic to what's going on in real life. So they have a better understanding of what's going on around them, instead of saying, well, oh, let's say, for instance, the virus. Oh, well, it's coronavirus. They say it's bad for us. We could die, or it compromising our immune system. They learn to understand why. So I bring meaning forth in their learning. So I haven't had a problem per se with my parents or my students thus far.
And with regards to prepping students for CXC, how do you go about doing that? And what about CXC pass rates?
Um, I've actually had good pass rates within the last 3 years. So this is going on to my fourth year at the moment with them right now, with Form 5s. Preparing them for CXC. Now, even though my live classes in school
Mhm.
has already finished last week, I have not left them stranded.
Mhm.
So every week we would be going through different past paper questions. I would be sending them out different past papers to do on a weekly basis. At the end of the week, review the past papers, correct the entire thing, show them how I got to the answers, explain to them why we did this, how to use their notes back into their papers, right? Proper answering methods, proper sentence constructions. So I've been taking some time to do that, and I will be continuing that until they write exams to make sure that they are confident in what they are doing at the moment.
Before we go into the next question from Facebook, I'm just going to remove it quick. We'll get to that just now. I want to ask about like how has the government or how has the Ministry of Education actually helped you all by providing tools for you guys being home right through? Do you guys have to use your own materials and things, or you can come to school and get supplies, and what's the whole scene with that?
Right. So again, I'm privately employed, so we have little input from Ministry of Education. However, my employers, they have put a lot of things in place for us. So in the event that we didn't have devices available to us, we could have come to the school and actually teach our classes there because they had their Wi-Fi up and running from before, and we had access to the computer lab. So my employers have been actually very good to me. Personally, I had my devices from before, so I didn't have any difficulties per se with transitioning. However, I have known some teachers, they had to expense themselves and put their, put things in place to be able to transition properly. So I didn't have an issue, but some of my colleagues, they had a little bit of transitioning to do per se.
Yeah, because dealing with teachers as well to fixing the laptops and stuff like that, even MOE laptops that I do have access to fix and I'm supposed to fix it. They have a lot of difficulty grasping or trying to use Word and getting the new edition of Word and using Zoom. And even to do like a PowerPoint presentation, you have to have the newer version of Microsoft Office to do it. Yeah, it was a real drama, and they have to pay out of the pockets. That was the thing. A lot of them have to pay out of the pockets.
But I know, like I said, I've known some teachers that have had that issue, so I could relate to them. And like I always tell them, take your time. You're doing well. Don't frustrate yourself. You're doing as much as you could at the moment.
Exactly. This is another teacher here. She's a Spanish teacher, Rolisha. She's from the Marbury side. She totally understands what you're saying and doing past papers. We're doing past papers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Once they are comfortable, you comfortable, they comfortable, we good to go. Because in the end of the day, you need to make sure that they could feel confident behind the paper and be like, all right, yeah, I could do this. I could answer these things. So, like I said, on a weekly basis, I send them a paper 1 and a paper 2. I give them some time to do it for themselves because at the same time, I'm not going to spoon feed you. I need you to try. I need you to build your critical thinking abilities. But at the end of the week, I will review it with you. And if you tell me, well, Miss, I didn't have this one correct, or Miss, I don't understand how you got there. Show me how you got there. I have no problems with that whatsoever.
So again, you're privately employed with a private institute. So I guess this question is for that is if you have any students with learning disabilities and how you deal with it.
Teaching virtually. I have had one student this term that I know of personally in my class that has ADHD. So, that's an attention span, a little issue with the attention span. So what I try to do with him, for instance, we take it 10 minutes at a time. So we would probably teach a lesson 10 minutes at a time, take a 5-minute break, talk about something else, have them doing something else, then come back and do another 10 minutes of that particular topic again and keep going until we are finished. And that actually had him more engaged. And let's say, for instance, we're doing a whole 45 minutes of teaching or a whole hour of teaching. And by first 15 minutes, he outed because of the fact that he has no control over his attention span. In other times, I've had actually one student last year that in my private tuition that was autistic. So I had opted to teach that student by himself. That was a little bit challenging because you have to build this little relationship with them and you have to take your time with them. You can't bully them or rush them into topics. So you have to look at different aids to be able to help them out to get there, because trust me, they are brilliant. It's just that they need some time.
Yeah, because I see a lot of autistic persons with that. I'm playing piano, singing, doing all kind of thing, like playing like professionally. Yeah,
they are brilliant because so I was teaching him physics and some of the maths in it, he was doing better than some of my Form 5s, and I was like,
serious?
Okay, and he was in Form 3.
Exactly. Yeah, they focus on a different level.
Correct. So you have to learn to bridge that gap with them. It takes a lot of research. trust me on that, because like sometimes you catch them in a different mood. So you have to know now how to change your lesson to be able to get to them. Sometimes you might just have to play videos with them and explain what's going on in the video for them to feel
Visual enough.
comfortable, right? Sometimes, they might want to do a set of calculation. Sometimes they might just want to do experiments. So you have to work with them as well.
Awesome. You got another nice comment here from Rita. I love this young woman. She's definitely brilliant. These are the kind of teachers we need in the education system, not something and talk textbook teacher, but a teacher that makes learning fun and have students eager to learn, which is really
I try.
nice.
Like I said, I didn't have the best experience in secondary school, so I try to not be that person.
Oh, this person, Jasmine Singh, I know her personally. She does a lot of babysitting and stuff with
Right.
autistic kids with special abilities in that sense. You have any advice for her? Or not, like dealing with someone?
Dealing with these kids, like I said, you have to go with their moods. Because one day they'll be okay, and next minute they will be. It comes and it goes. So you have to know.
I don't know. All of them are different. Everyone is different.
Yes, some of them might be
just
very
like a person.
verbal.
Like there are people, and like just like a person will wake up one morning and be grumpy, they could do that same thing.
They could do the
same exact thing.
I mean, and then sometimes some of them might be very verbal and they want to speak and they want to do stuff. And then there's some of them that are very recluse. So at the same time, yes, you want to try to break them out of that shell. You have to work with them. It's a gradual process. You can't overdo it overnight. Otherwise, you might undo years of learning with them. So you work with what you have.
Exactly. And like example, like let me say I want to enroll my child into your private lessons. What is the procedure for that?
Oh, very, very simple. All you have to do is send me a WhatsApp. Let me know what classes you're looking at, and I will send you back a list of stuff. It's a very simple procedure. Basically, you just do the payment online. I send you back all the information with regards to Zoom, Google Classroom, and we begin.
This person is proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
So what's something that you can educate me about? Like teach something like from biology, or was it basics? Like basics you would begin to teach?
In biology, you have to start to introduce what the topic is, because a lot of students know, yes, miss, I know what biology is. And then they ask, okay, so what it is. They can't begin to explain what exactly it is, but they can tell you aspects of it. So you start off by introducing what you are teaching, what it's about, what do you get yourself involved in, right? Then you start to break down simple scientific terms that you will find in bio, because it don't make sense that I come to throw in those terms when we're teaching topics and you come back and be like, miss, what that mean? So you introduce them to some of the scientific terms. Then we start to look at the classification of animals, classification of plants, starting off with the simple structures, moving its way up. And then when you establish all of these different things, you start teaching them about the cell. Then from the cell, you start to build up into the body systems. Then you have to incorporate, just as you have your animals, you have your plants as well. So you have to incorporate the two sets of information into your topics.
That's exactly true. You have to have patience and build a relationship with them. I think that is fact with any teacher and student, any type of teacher and student, no matter age, whatever.
You have to build that trust with them.
This person fully endorses you.
That's my husband.
He's sharing everything there.
Yeah.
Well, you got another question from the live. Other than teaching, this brilliant science teacher, who is Miss Loutoo, some hobbies? Oh, she wants to know about your hobbies and all kind of thing. Yeah.
Ria wants to
get
share that with me.
Yeah, Ria, get personal with you right now.
Aside from that, for those of you all who know me personally, I am also a dancer. I've been a dancer for a very long time. I rather not say, because then you all might think that I'm old. So I've been an East Indian dancer for a very, very long time. So that has actually been part of one of my biggest hobbies. I love plants, so you would find me in plant shops very regularly, probably buying it out because I really like a green environment. I'm also into cooking. I love cooking a lot. And I mean, right about now, I don't have a choice, so I might as well grow to love it.
Okay. All right, so I want to thank you again for coming out here and providing this type of
No
information for us,
problem.
right? About the COVID, about the teaching situation, as well as, even your hobbies, like what Ria wanted to know. Do you have any words to leave us with before we come off at this, right? Any type of
Well,
words, any type of advice you would like to leave with?
for teachers,
For
thank
teachers
you.
and then for someone in general, people in
Right.
general.
But teachers, let me start by saying thank you. You all are doing the best that you can do at the moment. I know sometimes it feels like you're falling apart and everything is, around you on fire, but trust me when I'm telling you, you're doing a good job, right? With regards to students that are learning right now, yes, keep trying. I know things is hard right now. I know it's not what we are accustomed to, but don't worry, we are all in this together. It's not just your battle alone, it's mine as well. With regards to people across the world, we are all in this together. It will be over soon. I can't say when, but day by day, just take it one day at a time. Don't try and overthink anything. Don't try and overwhelm yourself with what if. Just live in the now.
Exactly, exactly. There's some really nice words you left us with tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. You got another comment. You got a great job and continue to doing your best. God
Thank
bless.
you.
So I want to thank you again very much, even though I
No
just thanked
problem.
you, right? And I think this went really good. This really went
Yes,
nice
it
tonight.
was. It was.
Yeah, I went over. Like I calculated this for like about half an hour. We over half an hour, almost an hour right
I'm
now. So
fine.
it was fun. I'm
Yes,
not
it was
seeing
indeed.
another comment. I'm definitely sending my child to your
Yeah,
lessons.
you
I
have
think
no
everyone should.
children.
I want to know reaction.
That's I want to
Word on you.
know.
All right. So thank you very much again, and good night to everyone who's watching.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, I am Daddy Chinese, the crossover king, and I fully endorse Miss Loutoo's private tuition. Miss Loutoo is one of the best teacher that I know. She offers integrated science, biology, and chemistry. Want to have fun? Check out Miss Loutoo's. Don't let online learning be a bore. For more info, check the number below. Daddy Chinese is learn something today. Miss Loutoo's only want to check.